No. That Christian, that picture of Patrick Mahomes has to come out. I do not want to see Patrick Mahomes on the intro to my show, on the outro to my show, during the show. I can't stand him. It has to go. Here we are betting in the break. Oh, God, the guy's become the new Tom Brady. I hate him. Loud Esmond here. Tom Macrina joins us, our very own Philly fanatic and handicapper extraordinaire, although I think you took a beating yesterday in college football.
Yes, I did. Yesterday was horrible, but we picked it up today, so that's all right.
Yeah, good to know. Now, I got to say, this is what drives you crazy as a sports bettor. So I was arguing with Sniper Wes, all morning. He was like, oh, got to take the Raiders plus 7 points. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't take the Raiders plus 20 against anyone right now. Nobody. I mean, I wouldn't touch that team. Forget it. In fact, I'm going to go through my list of teams to absolutely fade as we're doing betting on the break here on the Winners and Winers Network. And remember to like us, hit the bell, all those things. So the Raiders, I'm arguing all morning with Wes about this. I said, no, man, I can't do it. I got to go the other way. For Christian, my producer, who loves the Rams. So I go ahead and I take the Rams -7. They are covering the whole freaking game. Then, with about 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, the Raiders are 4th and goal from the 8. They need 8 points to tie. So what do? They kick a freaking field goal. What are you doing? What the? And they get the ball back. What's the first thing they do? They throw an interception. The Ram guy could have run it back for a touchdown. What does he do? He lets it down. The final ends up that the Raiders only lose by 5. So Sniper West gets his cover and I'm screwed. So just, this is why they call it gambling. It will drive you insane. Now, my other rant of the day is this. Would somebody please smash Patrick Mahomes? For God's sake. The dude is running down the sideline. He starts to slow down like he's going out of bounds. So the 49er linebacker pulls up. What does he do? He keeps running. Gets down to the freaking 5-yard line. 33-yard run. Then they have a broken play. He runs it up the middle. The 49ers safety, who could have smashed him at the 1-yard line, pulls up. Oh, don't want to hit Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes bowls over him for a touchdown. I am sick to death of people pulling up and not hitting the you-know-what out of Patrick Mahomes. Somebody needs, because he does that kind of crap, where he pretends to throw the ball and then dances around the linebacker. Oh, first down, Patrick Mahomes. Somebody smash the SOB. Come on. Okay, I'm better now. Had to get that out of my system. Sorry. All right. So we are going to have picks for tonight. I've got some player props. I've got a very strong take on this game. I do not have a paywall pick on this game, so I'm giving you my best stuff on Sunday Night Football. I have made a promise to myself when it comes to Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. If I do a premium pick, it's going to be something obscure so that I can give everybody my best views on Sunday night and Monday Night Football when we do the show on Sunday nights. So let's just quickly look at what happened earlier today. It was a pretty chalky day, Tom, right? A lot of favorites covering.
Yeah, it was a good week, though the Vikings couldn't get it done. But yeah, other than that, a lot of chalk won. Same thing as last week.
Yeah, Broncos, Bengals, Colts, Eagles, Bills covering a big line at 9.5. Here's your underdogs. You had the Lions covered, although I thought it was weird that the Lions were an underdog in that game. I know the Vikings are a nice story, but they have Justin Jefferson and nobody else on offense. And Sam Darnold's looked good. Good for him. Their defense is pretty good, but the Lions loaded. I mean, they got talent all over the field. I don't think the defense is quite as good as the Vikings, but man, they've got great receivers. They've got a couple of great running backs. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Sam Laporta is one of the best, if not the best tight end playing right now. Although, boy, Isaiah Likely is sure opening some eyes over there for the Ravens, which isn't helping me because my tight end in fantasy football is Mark Andrews. So there you go. Shouldn't have taken him in the 4th round. Just saying. Anyway, pretty chalky day as far as the over and unders. I'm seeing under, over, under, over. So kind of an even split. Nobody really dominating in the over-unders. What, if any, trends were you seeing today that you think we need to talk about, Tom?
I mean, I think a thing where you're talking about the over-unders, we've seen a lot of unders today. The weather's starting to get a little cold, so I think that affects some teams. We're going to see some unders.
Especially those that play in a dome. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch for those outdoor field games starting fairly soon. One thing I wanted to cover from Saturday, college football. I know you had kind of a rough day. I was up and down, but I'll tell you what, if I had just limited myself to betting on Army and Navy all season, I'd be at like 1,000%. They just keep winning and covering. Now, Army, technically, it was a push because the number was 17 and they ended up at 17. But I do something that I've always told, and you can tell me if this holds true for you. I buy points sometimes. And I Scott Steen and other guys tell me, oh, no. Professional bettors never buy points. I disagree. I don't like losing on the hook. I didn't like the number at 17. It just bothered me. So, I paid 125 and I bought a half a point. That was the difference between winning and losing that game. So, I mean, Tom, your thoughts on, first of all, how cool would it be if both service academies, or at least one, got into the playoff? And secondly, where are you on buying points as a professional bettor?
So we'll talk about Army and Navy. I'd love to see a Army and Navy game, and then Army and Navy for the conference championship would be nice. Yeah. This Army quarterback looks great.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I don't know why he's not in a running for Heisman, but ooh.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, maybe just because it's Army and it's not a flashy enough program, but he can run, he can throw, he's tough as nails. I mean, talk about also a guy that's, just doing the right thing in his life all the way around. I mean, he's gonna, he's dedicated to the Army. I mean, you want to talk about a tough road to hoe. I have a nephew who is a major in the Army now. He did a couple tours in Afghanistan and Iraq as a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. So, I mean, I love the people that serve our country, and it would be so great to see a service academy in a playoff. And I would not want to draw Army if I am a marquee team, because they can drive you absolutely nuts. That option running game, it could beat anybody on the right day, right?
Yeah, and both sides of the ball, really, they're defensively, they're
but
strong
defense
too.
Is great.
Yeah, you can't run on them, you can't throw the ball on them. It's Army's a nice team. I'd like to see them both in the playoffs. I don't think that's happening, but yeah, it'd be nice to have one of them in the playoffs.
It is really fun for me every year. I sit down about 15 minutes early before the Army-Navy game kicks off, and I watch it all the way through the end when they play both alma maters. I just think it is such a great spectacle of celebrating the United States and the people in our armed services. I just think it's great. Okay, so let's get to just some general NFL talk. I have several teams that are on my list of teams to just fade and keep betting against the rest of the season. On the top of my list is the Saints. I am a Saints fan. I love Derek Carr. I like Dennis Allen. I'm a big fan of the organization. My God, the injuries, that team, the offensive line, I think they're on a center that they got from somebody else's practice squad. They're down both interior linemen for the season. I think the right tackle or the left tackle also is out. Taysom Hill is gone. Derek Carr is gone. Rashid Shaheed is now gone for the season. That team has just been absolutely decimated. And watching them play against Denver, it's like the defense is allergic to tackling. And I can tell you why that is. Man, if you have no chance of winning and you know it, sticking your nose in there at a high-speed collision against somebody, football tackling is a lot of want to, Tom. And I just don't see the Saints recovering. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess the first 2 weeks for fool's gold with the Saints.
I disagree. I disagree to this extent. I think that's who they would have been if they hadn't immediately lost basically their offensive line. And I think the most important player in that offensive system was Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I mean, they have offensive weapons. They have defensive weapons too. I mean, injuries play a huge part in it. I just think that, I don't know, the Saints are like the Falcons are. They're average to me.
The Browns, now they were on my list to fade last week, and they're still on my list to fade. But hey, one of the big storylines, Deshaun Watson's out for the season. He tore his Achilles. He'll be gone for a year, which means he will not be ready for the beginning of next season. Yeah, so where does that? I mean, he has 2 years left in his contract, right?
Yeah, but they should have been done with him a while ago, regardless of the contract situations. You got Jameis Winston, and you also have DTR, who you drafted. So at what point are you looking at your future or looking to win now? Either way, I don't think Deshaun Watson's the answer. So this might have been a blessing in disguise for them.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. I'm thinking addition by subtraction, honestly. Mm-hmm. Deshaun Watson is terrible. I don't think the players on the team like him. And obviously, he's letting down the entire organization. It's got to drive you insane. And I've been in corporate situations. I used to work in the big corporate world and a lot of politics. And you just see certain turds rise to the top of the bowl and shake your head like, what? Why did that person get promoted? Are you kidding me? And, it drives you crazy. And it is cancerous for an organization when there is a person in position of leadership that nobody likes because nobody wants to follow them. And everybody secretly is hoping they fail. So I think that was Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. So now everybody can, okay, goodbye. Your career's over. Thank you for playing. If I was ownership of Cleveland, I would just tell him, we're paying out your contract, but just don't come back. Just go rehab. His contract is only 2 more years. So I would be like, hey, dude, thanks for the memories. Goodbye.
It seems to be working out for the Broncos, right?
Yeah. No, I think you got to cut bait. I just, it's not going to work. He's done. And it's, the Raiders had a quarterback like that. I think they paid him for 2 years to sit on the couch. It wasn't as much money, but Jamarcus Russell, he was a first pick in the draft. And the guy ate himself out of the league. He just got so fat that he was. Oh, and he also apparently liked to imbibe in something called purple drink. Mm-hmm. It's Kool-Aid and codeine cough syrup. Ugh. Anyway, So the Browns are on my fade list. The Titans. Oh my goodness. They're terrible. Will Levis or not, they're awful. Mason Rudolph. If Mason Rudolph is the answer, you need a different question. Just saying. If Mason Rudolph is the answer, you need to be asking a different question. The Panthers. Whoo! Man. Jaden Daniels goes out in the first quarter, and I had picked that game as one of my premium picks, -9.5 on the Commanders. Jaden Daniels goes out in the first quarter. It's only 10-0. I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. And then, sure enough, Marcus Mariota comes in, and they ring up a 40 burger on him. So the Panthers are awful. And then the Dolphins. They are terrible. They are just terrible. And they lost their second string quarterback. They're on their third. Not sure if when Tua's coming back. Apparently he's going to start practicing next week. I don't really think that guy should get back on a football field. I just think it's a bad idea. But, hey, that's his life. It's up to him. If people told me I had to stop picking sports because it was bad for my health, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. So any of those that you disagree with, Dolphins, Panthers, Titans, Browns, Saints on the permanently fade list?
No, I think they're all good ones. Panthers, they're definitely in trouble. Are they going to have to go back to Bryce Young next week? This team can't score no matter what they do. And then they had Andy Dalton for 2 weeks. They light it up. All of a sudden, they can't score at all.
Well, it's that thing where NFL teams were preparing to face one quarterback, and then it was a different one that was actually playing. And so he plays a different game. So, it would be like preparing for a running quarterback, and all of a sudden they put in Russell Wilson, which is exactly what's going to happen tonight. So let's talk about this game tonight. Pittsburgh and the Jets. Your thoughts on how to bet this one?
Yeah, so this is a weird one. There were big changes on both offenses. Devontae Adams was at it. On the other side, Wilson is starting over Fields. I don't know if that's a downgrade. I kind of think it is. But regardless of that, it caused the market to move towards the Jets and the over. I kind of think that Wilson's impact on the offense will be negative. Pittsburgh has a beat-up offensive line. Fields is able to move around. I don't know that Russell Wilson could do that anymore. Also, he hasn't really played with this offense much. He was hurt in the preseason. He just started practicing with them. On the other sides, I understand the whole thing with Adams and Rodgers having chemistry there. But on a short week, I don't know how good he's going to be. Guy hasn't played since week 3. So I don't think he's going to have much impact. He could actually probably bring negative results. But what I like here is the under. I got a couple of trends for you. So when 56% of the majority is on the under, last year the under is 59-42, which is 58.4%. I expect this Steelers defense to be how they always are, especially at home. And then I don't know what to expect from the Jets offense. Even if they're better, they're still going to make the same mistakes they've been making. They make a lot of penalties, a lot of drop balls. Adams isn't saving, at least not this week. Adams is not saving this offense. I think this game stays under, maybe like a 20-13 score.
And that number is 40, by
the
way.
40.
Under 40. I'm with you on the under. I think both of these defenses are going to give the offensive fits. I don't see the Jets offense suddenly taking off and scoring 40. It's, absurd that they're suddenly going to be – they can't run the ball at all. I should know. Breece Hall is on my fantasy team. Yeah, I got to bench him. He's terrible. But then again, I had the other running back was Cincinnati's running back, and Cincinnati can't run the ball either. So my fantasy football team is kind of a mess this year, unfortunately. The number is -2. I'm on the Jets in this game because, like you, I don't trust Russell Wilson. Sorry. I think he's good for 5 sacks and a pick. And there's an interesting player prop. Devontae Adams receptions over or under 4.5 and over or under 63.5 yards. What I wish I was able to pick as a prop is number of attempts that Aaron Rodgers would take to try to get to the ball to him, because I think that's going to be over 10. I think Rodgers is going to be trying to force feed him the ball. But I don't know if he'll get over that 63.5 or over that 4.5. I wish there was a prop bet that I could take that was how many times is Aaron Rodgers going to target Davante Adams. But I'm going to just differ with you, and I'm going to lean over 4.5. I'm not sure about the yardage, but I'm going to say 5 or 6 receptions for Davante Adams, because I think they're going to try to do things like bubble screens and stuff to just get him into the flow of the game. Really simple routes, not complicated. So I think he can get over that 4.5 number. Another interesting prop to me, Russell Wilson's passing number, over or under 172.5 yards, Tom.
Ooh, it's low, but I kind of like the under. I think he's going to get crushed.
Yeah. No, he holds the ball too long. He doesn't play well within the system. The Steelers don't really have any weapons. I mean, you got Freiermuth, you got Pickens. Pickens hasn't done jack all year. By the way, Pickens' number is also 4.5 receptions and over or under 52.5 yards. He's been over that number 3 times this year, but once it was 53, once it was 57. The other 2 games, he had less than 30 yards receiving total. And he had one game that kind of skewed his average where he went for 113 yards. But I see him under 52.5 yards and under 4.5 receptions, because I'm also under on the 172.5 with Russell Wilson, which if you're going to be under the 172.5, you kind of have to be under the receptions and the number with Pickens, right?
Yeah. Also, Pittsburgh can run the ball. You can run the ball in the Jets defense. So that should be their plan going into this game, is to use Najee Harris, run the ball, chunk yards. You don't want Russell Wilson doing too much, because then he's going to make mistakes. So, yeah, I do like that play.
Yeah. All right. So, for me, Jets -2. We're both on the under. We both are out on Russell Wilson. So anywhere you can short Russell Wilson's results, under 172.5 passing, Pickens under 4.5 receptions, under 52.5. We're split on what kind of night Davante Adams is going to get.
I do like him to get it on anytime touchdown. It is plus money. I think it's plus 130 right now. But I think, as you said, he's going to force feed him, especially in the red zone. So yeah, I think Davante Adams could get that anytime touchdown.
Tomorrow night, we've got 2 games on Monday night. I got to tell you, I don't like this playing 2 games at the same time thing. That annoys me when you have Monday Night Football and you put, why aren't you playing one at like 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock West, and then starting the other one at like 5:45? So maybe they overlap for 15, 20 minutes, but one game starting at 8:15, the other starting at 9 or 5:15 or 6 if you're on the West Coast, that drives me nuts. Now, I have 3 televisions in my home office. So, I'm going to be able to watch both, but it's annoying to me. If you're going to make a game a primetime game, let it breathe. This isn't college football. You can figure that out.
Especially when you have one marquee matchup and the other game is
yeah, exactly. Steelers and Jets, we covered that's tonight. Cardinals, Chargers, the only play I see in that game, because the Cardinals drive me insane because of the Garden Gnome at quarterback, because he's like watching a cartoon character. You never know when he's going to go for a 60-yard touchdown or scramble around and hit somebody with a 55-yard. It drives me insane to watch him play. And he's completely unpredictable. He can be awful. He can be great. And the Chargers, man, their offense is boring. I'm just sorry. It's just dull. It is dry toast on offense for the Chargers. So my one play I see in this game, the number is 40. No, I'm sorry. The number is 44, and I'm under.
I am under as well. You were talking about the Chargers offense. I actually think they're going to look good in this game. Cardinals have a bad defense. I think LA should have success in the run game, the pass game. This team looks different from the Brandon Staley teams that we used to watch. Harbaugh's doing the same thing that he used to do in Michigan. He likes to run the ball and strong defense. Chargers have a good pass rush. This Cardinals offense looks like it's not clicking. Yeah, everybody's on the over. This Chargers defense is physical, dominant.
The public is on the over?
Public, yeah, that's why we need Scott here. I'm pretty sure the public's on the over.
Wow. Okay, and then Buccaneers, Ravens.
Oh no, I got some trends for the under for
okay, go ahead.
Chargers game. Yeah, so when the home team is a dog on Monday Night Football, the under is 17-3-1, which is 85%.
Wow.
On Monday Night Football, Arizona is 7-2 to the under their last 9. Chargers are 10-2 to the under the last 12. And then when more than 64% of the handle is on the over, they are 30-59 the last 2 seasons.
Good numbers. Tom always brings it. Finally, last game of this week, Buccaneers, Ravens. The Ravens -3.5, Buccaneers +3.5. The over-under number is 50. Tom, where are you at?
Yeah, so this is I wanna love the Ravens at this spread. Short spread. The problem is that they are a road favorite, and that's not my favorite thing to back. But I had found something I do like. So both teams are 4-2. They're tied for the first in respective divisions. The Bucs offense should be able to keep up with Baltimore if this is a shootout, and I do expect it to be a shootout. Ravens are number 1 in offense and yards per game. Bucs have outscored Baltimore in points per game this season. Bucs have scored 114 points in the last 3 games. They allowed 63 points the last 2 weeks. Baltimore is scoring 33.5 points per game in the last 4 games. As I said, it's hard for me to take Baltimore as a road favorite. So I'm going to go with the team total. I'd set it 26.5 for Baltimore at -125. So I like the Ravens over 26.5 team total -125.
I'm going to go with you, except I'm on the total over of 50 because Baker Mayfield tends to go off when he's on national television. He likes the bright lights. And so I don't like picking the Ravens minus many points in this game because I think it is going to be a shootout. And it's going to be one of those where you're just watching. It's like watching somebody really good playing Madden. It's just going to go back and forth. So I don't know. -3.5. You got the 3 and the hook. The Buccaneers could make this interesting. They could keep it close. I wouldn't be surprised, but I am on the over. All right, that has been betting in the break for this Sunday night. Tom Macrina, fantastic. You can find his stuff at Winners and Winers. By the way, today I am 100% for my premium NFL picks. Did not miss a game. Now, I don't pick as many games as a lot of people. Today I picked a total of 2. Because my betting philosophy is this is about making money and not about entertainment for me. So if I want to feel entertained, I'll play fantasy football. If I want to make money, I'm going to bet and I'm going to pick my spots. Lad Esmond here, Christian producing. Tom, thanks for joining us as always on Sunday nights. Until next week.